And I've known Cody since he was a young boy working with his dad, and him and Trey worked, helped his dad on Joe Seeling's 97 car. I've known them boys since they were little boys, I mean, when they were young. So I've known them guys a long time. And, Cody right now, somebody would have to prove otherwise. He's the best wrench in the country right now.
Now, you can kind of tell when a driver's got that it factor, on the racetrack. You can kind of see it. I think you got a few guys. I think Spithaller's one of y'all's guys over there, just needs to tame it down, be a little more. He's like y'all Sheldon. He's got some inconsistency to him. But can you tell when a crew chief's coming up? Could you have ever guessed that Cody Jacobs would be one of the best crew chiefs ever? Like, is it hard to see? I mean,
well, I think in any one of these deals, the crew chief and they're going to be as good as the driver, and they're going to be as good as the car owner, right? I always said in this deal, you got to have the complete package to have success. You got to have a car owner that's willing to spend the money to do it the right way. You got to have a driver that's willing to give you 110% on every single lap, that doesn't get lazy because the car's not perfect, or, they got to be able to carry the car some nights too, and the crew chief's got to be able to make the car where it's drivable. And then you got to have a good engine program, right? So once you got all of that stuff, I think the chemistry, being able to talk to one another, being able to sort out what's good, what's bad, knowing, being able to watch the race car. There's drivers out there that'll run a car 2 laps, and if it ain't exactly what they want it to be, they'll fix the car. They'll fix the car, but they won't go as fast, right? They'll fix it, and they'll make it do what it needs to do. But maybe they run 10th that night, right? Because and sometimes the mechanic needs to be able to see what the car's doing. Can you look at a crew chief and say they're going to be great? Not as easy as you can a driver. I mean, you can pretty much figure out if a driver's got talent. It don't take a lot of time. At least I don't feel like it takes a lot of time to see if a guy's got some ability. And then you got to question whether you can put him with around the right people, and they can go win some races. And, Todd's a, former All-Star champion. He's now an Outlaw champion. Them guys, they know what it takes, right? And they do it very well.
It's a complete set over there at the 2 car. But, it is interesting, who's more valuable in today's sprint car world, that crew chief or that driver? I mean, drivers just got to drive and give decent feedback, or give feedback, period. It seems like some can be prima donnas and yell and bitch, but it seems like the crew chiefs have to be extremely good at what they do, but then also have to be somewhat of a psychotherapist to deal with these crybaby drivers sometimes, because they'll get out and just start yelling, so they got to break everything down. It's almost like a motherly role. It's like, I'm not saying
I
Cody's...
think most of them drivers that get out of the car and have a meltdown, they're not the guys getting their picture taken.
I mean, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I mean, I've heard some stories of some very successful... I mean, I'm not gonna name his name because I like him a lot, but that was a daily, weekly occurrence with a team that was just dominating everything on the national series. So do you want, some people respond differently too. I mean, do you want the coach that yells in your face? Some people need that to be motivated, where some people get that and they're like, fuck this guy,
Right. I think on, when you ask the question if the driver's more important or the crew chief's more important, in today's world, there's probably more drivers than there is good crew chiefs out there. I don't know where like Sweet's crew chief went. They went over to the Kane car, and he quit the Kane car, and I don't know if he's anywhere right now.
He went back to PA. He's helping that Doug Hammaker with 410s. He's just chilling, it seems like, in PA.
Yeah, and he could just be burned out, right? Burned out from being on the road, or whatever the case may be. My stepson worked on the road. He did a couple years with the All-Stars, did 3-4 years with the Outlaws, and then went down to Cup Country for 7 years, and now he's back home. But it just depends.
Who is that? Is that Andrew? Not Andrew Bowman. No,
no, it's his name's Chris.
Okay.
Christopher.
Okay. Continue.
But sometimes those guys just get burned out. But it's hard to say. I can't imagine running 90 races like some of them guys do, and that's a tough way to go.
Yeah, that's probably the other deal. It seems like also today's modern crew chief has to be team manager, has to be doing all the hotel work, has to be keeping up with the truck, has to be a manager as well of people in the moments. It does seem like the crew chief definitely has a longer list of things that they have to do.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And the good thing is though is if you're that guy doing all that stuff, you at least get to control it for yourself too, right? You can make it a little easier on yourself.